AI is going to end us all. Seriously, though, I think we're going to have some great advancements around the corner. Bindu Reddy from Abacus AI, who I think has awesome tweets and I recommend you follow on Twitter, says models are improving exponentially. The new Phi 314B model scores phenomenally on all benchmarks. On key numbers, it seems to be pretty close to Llama 3 Instruct. As small models become more and more powerful, we will see 7B sized GPT-4 class models, which will be instantly useful for simple tasks. Open source will not only catch up, but will do better in both cost and efficiency. Guillermo Pinedo, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, from Hugging Face, says, "We are finally releasing the FineWeb technical report. In it, we detail and explain every process decision we took, and we also introduce our newest dataset, FineWeb Edu, a subset of FW filtered for high educational content." Now, what that means is they took the entire FineWeb dataset that's used for training AIs, and they ran that dataset through Llama 3 70B, and they told it, why don't you trim this down to just the most important educational stuff for training an LLM? And I think it scaled it down to something like 1/15 of its original size, but they're going for quality over quantity, and that trimmed down data set actually made the LLM more accurate, probably reduced the amount of training time, and also made the model more efficient to run. So you're going to see models that are more efficient and trained on more clean data sets with less noise and junk in them. Cloud systems are rapidly running out of processing power. The chip manufacturers are going to race to make better hardware, but the other side to that equation is models that do more with fewer resources. Another advancement we're seeing very soon around the corner is called mixture of agents. You may have heard of Mixture of Experts and watched a video that I made about it or learned about it from other videos or anything else you've seen. And Mixture of Agents is kind of a step up from Mixture of Experts. Mixture of Agents, or MOA, is combined multiple LLMs that each serve a different purpose. They are grouped into proposers and aggregators. Proposers assess the problem and come up with possible solutions, while the aggregators combine and evaluate the possible solutions to form a coherent final decision. That leads me into another advancement that's probably coming up in the near future called scaffolding, which is a new way of even making an AI architecture to begin with. Scaffolding is a similar concept to mixture of agents. Max Tegmark from MIT will explain in a video clip I'm going to show. Not only is he working on this at MIT, but I used to follow him to learn about astrophysics on the Science Channel. In the last few years, he's switched gears entirely to AI, and that's his main focus. Let's listen to him explain his idea of a change in AI underlying architecture called scaffolding.
What do you think are the most promising, like, new architectures that you've seen that you think we should be exploring more?
So I mentioned tool use
Yeah.
by LLMs. I think more generally, what's very promising is scaffolding, where you think of the LLM as just one component in a bigger architecture. Kahneman, who sadly passed away at around age 90, just very recently, used to talk about system 1 and system 2 in our human brains. System 1, the fast thinking, the intuitive thinking, is a lot like neural networks, where system 2 is the more logic-based symbolic reasoning we have, which lets us speak Swedish and English and math and Python. And if you think about a future where the neural networks, the transformer, say, is system 1, you can imagine that it's just part of this bigger architecture, which can enable more clever database structures, all sorts of tools, loops, various other techniques. I could totally see this kind of neural network with scaffolding around it being way more powerful than today's systems.
Do you think it's necessary to change that underlying model architecture, or can this be a heuristic on top? I mean, we already see that with sort of the chain of thought and similar approaches where sort of add reasoning on top of the current model. So instead of stopping them as soon as they start outputting tokens, you let them set up a plan and then reason sort of recurrently in that way.
I think we're already seeing more things like this. So that the Quiet Star paper that just came out, for example, a radical interpretation of it is that it's stupid to force the neural network to output one token just basically say everything that it thinks. That's not how you operate. When you speak, sometimes you'll have several thoughts before you decide to say the next word, right? So the Quiet Star architecture has more of that freedom, and it performs way, way, way better. But that's just a very small example of how messing a little bit with the architecture can make big improvements. And I'm fairly confident we're going to see huge improvements in the next year or two.
The AIs are going to multiply before they destroy everybody. For those of you who are new to this channel and just watching for the first time, most of what I do is instructions on how to install interfaces on Linux to chat with your own LLMs, and also testing of different LLMs. If you've been watching this channel, I appreciate you sticking with me. I'm going to continue making videos about the technology as this advances. I'll eventually test some mixture of agents. I have a feeling I'm going to have to run it in the cloud because I don't think it's going to be able to run on consumer grade hardware. I remember Mixture of Experts used so much resources I had to run it in the cloud on rented GPUs. I'll check into it and we'll find out. If you have any thoughts or opinions about the technology you've seen in this video, or you're aware of any others or that are coming around the horizon, feel free to share in the comments. Please click the like button if this video brought you some value. If you subscribe, we're just going to keep doing more great videos about open source AI technology, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.